Hello. Okay. Hi, Scorpio. This is your Cancer season reading, July 2024 reading. All information to work with me, personally, one-on-one is below. Read tarot. I'm a life coach, astrologer, and podcast is below. Different ways to connect with me is below. I'll find it in the description box. Extended version of this reading. First link below, but give it about 24 to 48 hours. First card out, the Strength card. This month is softer than most months for you. Water and water signs is usually like the best, because even if shit hits the fan, for you it feels good for the most part. There's like or not good, it just feels okay, perhaps. Like everything's gonna be okay. And maybe, Scorpio, that's really what you need to be reminded this month, that whether you're in a place where things are good but you're worried that they're not gonna be good anymore, everything's gonna be okay. However, this is about you. I can't tell, and I can't say that to, the world. I don't know everything, right? You don't know everything. We don't know everything. But right now, if that's what you need to hear, I'm here to tell you. How do I know? Because there is a time when a situation, a rejection, perhaps has happened in your life where you took it to the extent of being vindictive or completing the I am not good enough mindset, or not even just a mindset, what built up within you, perhaps, if those are your stories, right? If that fits into your story. But now, or you're just going to reject someone back or whatever it is, but now you realize that this has been a term I really like and want to pass along, is rejection is protection. We know rejection is some type of protection, but putting it in that way makes it make way more sense. It makes things become a lot clearer, and it kind of dissolves, right? There's truth to it, therefore, and it's not always the case, of course, but notice what comes up, notice how you feel, but also notice how it opens up access to more. Maybe it's because you were perhaps lowballing yourself. Maybe you're actually overqualified for the position, or this person would never fit your life anyway, and it was just it was trying to fill some kind of thing, some kind of like core connection within you, that if I have this, then I will be loved, successful, and on and on and on. You may realize where this has come from, but now more than ever, things are actually just starting to move fast. Quick change, alchemizing change. This change is through what you can and cannot control. This alchemical, this change in your life, you are in front of it, right? No one's doing it for you. This is all you being in front of it, bottom of the deck. Would you look at that? We'll get more into that. I was like, why haven't I done Scorpio? And it's like, because I think you're probably going to get the most positive reading this month. It's like, you guys are just kind of chilling right now. We're going to get to all the things that we need to get to, but, we'll get there. So, because I asked myself, like, when I put people in order, or not in order, when I do each sign, it's just interesting what comes up. This also stems from this situation, whether you got rejected by someone, it looks like you're rejecting someone, or you're turning down an option, maybe even a job, whatever it is. Yeah, could be money. The reason why it's important in your life to maybe take a second and ask, like, okay, is this because of, am I being too stubborn? Where is my power here? Is this giving me more power, or is this just maybe an illusion of power? But no, it is giving you more power. You actually really did make the right decision for yourself. by doing that, or if you're in a situation now and you're wondering, oops, sorry about that. You're wondering, how, where is this going? Well, Cancer season is going to take you on a ride. You don't really know where anything's going in Cancer season. So instead of focusing on that, like what you can't control, what you don't know what's going to happen, what you can do is notice your response to when you can't control. And that's where you're at right now. Like, that person couldn't have controlled you rejecting them, but that was your power and your control to turn something down. Where did it come from? I don't think it didn't look like a malicious place. It was just your truth. Therefore, it's just in the same yet different situation. You're in life, and I'm just speaking through that because I have the air on. That this is really related to your sense of worth and your femininity. This is you balancing the masculine and feminine within you, because the feminine is so powerful as a water sign, very psychic. Yet if you're more masculine of a person, or you rely more on that, or you've been overcompensating, whatever the equation is for you, there's room for this to come together quickly. You, by only giving into the power and control that you have, if it's possible, internally, you may not realize how quickly things move and alchemize through you. And the reason why you don't need it to last longer, why time doesn't always heal, not always time. It's in the time. It's within the right time, in the divine time. This is that divine time for everything to merge. This is that time where you won't forget, because you're putting this directly into your worth. You're putting this directly into your sense of self. You're putting this directly there. This is going there. So therefore, you're feeling in real time the alchemization process of how you're maneuvering now, and the effects of it happening almost right before your eyes. So you're really in the presence of, because when you're like unraveling some things and you're learning about yourself and you're dealing with issues, or you're dealing with constant patterns, and you're finally out of the pattern, or you're out of the old response part of the pattern, and you finally are at the place where you can actually change and shift. You're finally at the place where you're like, I'm craving I want a new life, like this one, or I want to, like, not that it's like you're gonna get a whole new life, new adventure, different story, want to change the story. Why? What is about this story that I need? When you're finally there within you, I think subconsciously we then start to go, like, your body starts to go, your brain starts to bring in experiences where a certain part of you would have done in a specific way, and now you're being given an opportunity to move forward with this part of you. And that's what's happening together. You're seeing this become an action. I said this to someone else, this is where love becomes a verb. This is when you have, and I will go in even more deep to say it, unconditional love. That when we start, or if you have started practicing, like, what does unconditional love look like, or not even intentionally, you're just going towards the authentic part of you, consistently walking towards, acting towards that part of you. They say fake it till you make it, act. Well, if you can't get there today, like, what does walking towards it look like, right? And that's what you're doing. You're completely walking towards it. And this is beautiful. Beautiful. Everything I was just saying. And then the outcome is even better. And what is going to happen is even better. And what you're building is even better. Even better than you can imagine. You committing to this is allowing you months to years, right? For those of you who are in this multi-dimensional space, even different lifetimes. Because you've committed to this process of being compassionate towards you first, Scorpio. And if you're not, this is that process. This is where it begins. And sometimes when you're in a certain place, big changes happen very quickly. Not just because you're at the beginning, not just because you're at the end or in the middle, you've done enough work. It's just the feeling of letting go, and also life bringing you and you feeling safe, and life bringing you exactly what you need in every situation that you need it, is because you're committing to yourself. You're committing not only to, you're not just committing to the instant gratification that maybe you used to, because you can do that. You can get obsessive. You have that kind of personality. You like what you like and you know what it brings you, but what happens when that stops bringing you anything? And then all of a sudden you find a new thing, and then you find a new thing, and you find a new thing. This isn't just you. How long do you think I know this? Until you realize that you need to commit to yourself and what you really need, and maybe the creativity or the project or the job or doing the thing. Now is this time for you. It's for everyone, but for you it's so specific. Not specific. It's so, yeah, it's specific within your dreams. If you have something you've wanted to do, if there's something you've been wanting to try, if there's a job you've been wanting to go after, if there is something that is on your list of, when I'm lying on my deathbed, what am I going to regret? Now's the time to start that. It doesn't have to look like I need to make a career out of this, I need to make money off this. Just spend like 5 to 10 minutes, and then you find yourself doing this for 30 minutes, or experiencing whatever, or listening to music, or whatever it is that you may be taken that far. Is like, what will I regret? You know, you don't have to do this every day, but that's what Cancer season is like, washing in new for you. It's like, what am I building? What would I regret not doing, saying, feeling? You may feel like this freeing experience of wanting to like really get in there with yourself, because there's an idea. Sometimes our intuition, sometimes I probably read into stuff way too much. LOL. But there's a lot of times where I believe that when we're deeply connected to our journey, and we think we quit this job or we change this thing, and all of a sudden we're gonna start it right away. For some people, but for others, there's a needing to unpack what wasn't there. What's the resistance coming? Why aren't you starting right away? And then reverse engineer from there. And then you find yourself going somewhere. This is just me making up stuff, but it's very real. You going somewhere and you just never intended to go there, but you did, and you're like, but I should be doing this. Let me just bring it with me. Maybe I'll do it there. No, the point was to go there. And then you somehow get a message that you've needed, or something that you've needed as a part of your journey. If you haven't seen The Alchemist, it's really good. Maybe that's what your reading will be called. Read. It's a book. It would be nice if it was, maybe it was turned into a movie and I just don't know. But it's a very spiritual book. It's very old. Most people, if they're starting their journey or opening up or just wanting a taste or just wanting to connect deeper, sometimes all they need is one book, right? All they need is a couple books. On any of that spectrum, that is a great book if you haven't read it. This alchemization process is seeing everything in your life that, like, sitting with your stuckness. This is an exercise that you can try. Sitting with your stuckness, asking your stuckness questions. Like, what do you mean sitting? Just like visualize your stuckness. What energies come up? What like, if you're a visual person, what visuals come up? Maybe you write out what your stuckness like feels like, or whatever. And you have this conversation with your stuckness. Now, I'm not I'm not like licensed professional, just a certified professional. You know what I'm saying? So definitely seek further help. You can also work with me one-on-one. This is stuff I like to do as well. If you do need to go deeper, but it's really important that you trust yourself first. And that's what anyone should be guiding you to do, in my opinion. That's just fine. So the fact that you're committing to look at this stuckness already is setting this wheel of good karma, wheel of good fortune, wheel of whatever you want to call it forward. Now the fixed signs are having a harder time. But what does that mean energetically? Harder time. It just means that there's a lot more underneath this shit. There's a lot more. Once you move beyond it, once you move through it, once you say, okay, I know I'm stuck, I get it. Have maybe this conversation with like, what do you need? What do you need? I need you to scream. I need you to write. I need you to run or work out or eat something or watch something, or it could be anything. You're just like, really, like that's what you need to move through the stuckness. And it's just like all of a sudden fills your heart, and maybe you start crying, or maybe you need to let out emotions. Maybe I need to have a connective conversation with someone. Maybe there's been something on your heart and you've been neglecting, is the key word, to share it because you're scared of how they're going to react. That's not your responsibility. All of this is saying what you said. It's not your responsibility to care for the person you rejected. They got to care for themselves. They shot their shot. It was a no. And therefore you're seeing that in the same way as like, you shot your shot. Maybe it's a no. What's the worst that could happen? Going through all the scenarios, but with an open heart and also a support system, there's a change in an alchemy experience in realizing that what you bring to the table can be harnessed and used, and these ideas can be harnessed and used by you, not just because you're around people who think you're smart, or that you need to prove to people that you're smart and you're capable and you know and you have a great idea. What if you actually put it into yourself, or applied it with someone who really values you, and really commit to that, commit to being valued more? And what does that look like to you? What does that feel like to you? You know, what's through that stuckness? And this is a lot of, and perhaps for those of you who can move through it and have that support and have that capability, because for some of you, the control was slowing the process, because you almost knew, like, and then you're like, I also don't know how to handle. Maybe you also wonder, like, can I handle this? Yeah, you can handle this. Absolutely, you can handle this. Look at you. What's being revealed to you now is that you are a weight is lifting off of you, because you've committed and devoted, right? We can say discipline here, but there's a devotion that comes to going through the process of actually like really changing yourself. Because from what I've learned, most people don't change a lot. And it took me a really long time. I know I'm somewhat young, I'm like in the middle. But sometimes I have to remind myself that, like consistently lately, and I know you know that. I know you know. But if you need to hear it and you're someone who makes excuses for other people, you realize that this has been maybe an excuse for yourself. Because you need to play bigger if you're not. The you that comes through this time is someone who is highly capable, extremely strong, super powerful. Does super powerful make it mean like, no, it's not that powerful? You're powerful. You may also not understand why you're going through this until what you feel at the end of the month. Because it's such a strategy. It's so strategic. Your intuition is even strategic. The more you become strategic, the more your intuition is become also strategic sometimes. And I think intuition is just strategic regardless, because it's ultimately trying to help you, in my opinion, better your life. The strength to move forward and to acknowledge all of that you're doing, and to sit with perhaps the stuckness, or sit with the power of letting go of control, the power of trusting yourself, and even when you don't, feeling through it. Knowing that you're worthy to have these emotions, that they're sharing something with you, and ultimately you are learning to then shift that process and understand that your worth doesn't come from all of these things maybe you were taught. It comes from, of course, within, and how you react and how you respond in different moments. Every moment is different. You know, you're not going to only respond one way and, you know, to everyone. And maybe you do, and maybe that's been helpful for a while. But now there's a lot more emotional intelligence breaking through with you. There's a huge growth in that as well. This is also about how this is shifting your money. Actually, if you're starting to make more money, you may notice naturally that your sense of security and sense of self, because Scorpio Taurus axis heavily rely on their security with money. Fixed signs, cumulative, very cumulative. You like your experience, you want to be able to have say in your, you know, in your life if you can, but it's also learning what that balance is, how much, what to spend. There's so much more involved with that there may be more of a discipline on that this month, because sometimes you're just used to throwing money at something, or you're used to restricting yourself from something. So you're balancing out these extremes because you're emotionally going through these extremes as well. But you may find that through this process you're given even more money, or you're receiving more money, right? But you're also spending money. There's this, you're noticing like what goes out and what comes in more, because it's actually on your mind. If you're not interested in finance, or you used to be, even just in your own finance, you may get more interested in it, and then maybe you even notice, and maybe you're beginning to notice the emotional connection. Even if it's something that you don't overemphasize, but then you notice like, okay, this is my emotional connection to money. This is what I do when I feel ... Could be. But because you're going through and feeling through this, and you're allowing these experiences, and hopefully not putting too much judgment on, because that's something we can do this month. But it looks like you're just taking responsibility for yourself, for your life. You feel empowered. Yes, you feel stuck, but you've committed to the process, because then you get to decide. And what you're doing is revealing how capable you are, how independent you are, how strong you are, how much you have it together. And that you're not controlling the sense of, this is what I want you to see. This is actually how you really feel. This is how you really are. And for those of you not specifically feeling this way, or you're like, okay, I don't feel this way, how do you think at the end of the month? This is a huge month. You know, it may take you more towards the end of the month to feel like this is positive for some of you. For others of you, you may experience it right away. And you also may realize how much this has controlled, or has given you this sense of control with your like doubting yourself has been a sense of control of not being better, not being worse, or whatever it is that you're not just afraid of being, but the responsibility that comes with it. Because some other people are vice versa, but that I think is for you, because responsibility means that there's longevity, and you're responsible for yourself more than ever, and now you're seeing that very clearly in your life. I'm really excited to get into this next part, Scorpio. You may have people approach you this month. You may be deepening a relationship with a Scorpio, or maybe with this person, could be even a Sagittarius, or excuse me. And it could be through this deep commitment of life, a partner, or your job. It doesn't matter what it is. You're committing to something, and the worthiness that you feel and then the worthiness that you feel, what's that feeling, and then put it next to everything. How do you feel? Where does the feeling land? Is it a similar feeling? You know, going through your feelings, right? Going through your feelings, who does that? Maybe you should. Maybe try it out. I don't know. I'm very interested to see. But you maybe also, if you're single, people are going to show themselves to you, and you'll have choices. And if you decide to take things slow, then take them slow. If you decide not to, because things looks like could move quickly here, just let yourself process. Yeah, just let yourself process. Notice how you feel before and after. Who are you? Who are you becoming? Yeah. Just watch the magic unfold. All information is below. Connect with me there to connect deeper with yourself. And we'll see you next month, Scorpio.